Hey, Patrice. I wanted to ask you about a teammate, if you don't mind, and you've talked plenty about Charlie McAvoy, but in terms of just the endurance, it comes up a lot where people talk about just how great a lung capacity, how much he can skate, how much he can stay on the ice. What's your impression of that? How valuable is that? Are you amazed by it? Tell me any thoughts on that.
Yeah, no, it's always something you notice. I think it's probably one of the first things you notice with him is that whether it's in training camp or even before that captain's practice, we do a little scrimmage and he's going to be on the ice for 5+ minutes, and he seems to still be flying out there. So he's one of those guys that just can skate forever and never get tired. So it's definitely great to have. I wish I felt that way as well. But it's very impressive, and it's a testament to his conditioning.
Steve Conroy.
Hey, Patrice, how you doing?
Good. How you doing, Steve?
Good. Just your thoughts on that top defensive pair for the Islanders. Obviously, a lot of size there. Just what are the problems they present?
Yeah, I think they have a lot of size, but also they're very, very mobile. They move the puck well. They're good on their retrievals and making that first pass. Obviously, I think it's not just that first pairing, but also all 6 defensemen, play the puck well, but also seem to be in sync and really stick to the system. And it's a very structured team. Defensively, it's no different with the D pairing and how they play the game. So it's definitely going to be a challenge. And, I think our forecheck and our puck placement on our forecheck is going to be really important.
Tomorrow night's going to be the first time you'll have a full house in 15 months or whatever. Just what is the anticipation and excitement level for that? And is there anything you need to guard against, getting too high or anything like that?
Really excited. Looking forward to it. It's been a while. I've said this before. I think, from the bubble to the start of this season, you adapt and you adjust to not having fans. And in a way, you almost forget how special it is to have them. So when we went up to the 12% and now 25%, it made such a big difference. The impact that they have on the game, the energy that they bring that you try to feed off of is amazing. So having close to a packed garden tomorrow is going to be special. I think to guard against, you don't want to get too high, obviously, and waste your energy. But that being said, I think you have to soak it in and stay in the moment and worry about your game. But, sometimes, it does make a difference as far as energy goes, and you try to get a lift out of that crowd going wild.
Joe Haggerty.
Hey, Bergie.
Hey.
Butchie has talked the last few days just about how you and the Islanders are kind of two sides of the same coin, very similar teams. Just wondering your thoughts on that when you look at, the 200-foot players on each team being well coached, the good goaltending. You both kind of pride yourselves on being strong finishers in the third period. It seems like there are a lot of similarities between these two teams.
Yeah, I think you're right. And I think we saw that in the season series, a lot of tight games and except maybe one or two. But that being said, is really tight checking, structured hockey, and I think that's what we're expecting. I do agree. I feel like the systems are somewhat similar, whether it's defensive zone or the forechecks and all that stuff. It's kind of goes back to what we like to do as well. So I think you adapt and you adjust throughout the course of a playoff, whether it's from one round to the next, but also during a series. So it's going to be a lot of that, a lot of going back to the video, making adjustments from one game to the next. But we're expecting a tight and a very hard series.
Fluto.
Patrice, Bruce has never been a coach to chase hard matchups, but you've had that experience too of playing for Claude, and he'd send you out for those D-zone draws or hard matches. It's just different. So what is it like for you and as a line just to get into the flow with Bruce, where you're perhaps focusing on your game rather than being concentrated on particular matchups?
Yeah, I think it's just different way of seeing things. I think you adjust to any coach that you have and the situation that you're being asked to be put out on the ice for. So with them, you're right. It's more what we can do and beating the matchup that you're up against on any given time. So for us, it's a lot of worrying about what we can do as a line when we step out on the ice, and obviously you try to be aware of who you're playing against, and that's really important, especially in the playoff series. But that being said, I don't think we're stuck to the matchup, and it makes it easier sometimes when you're on the road.
Sophia.
Salut, Patrice.
Salut.
Kevin Dupont just asked Bruce Cassidy about, the start of the season and series versus the Islanders wasn't as successful for you guys, and obviously you ended on a strong note. And he said the personnel you guys added at the trade deadline had something to do with that, and of course the talent, but just the confidence that it gives the rest of the team that you guys can feed off of. And I was just wondering, you could probably only speak for yourself, but do you think as a team, when you guys do get that confidence back, in the sense that all lines are clicking, you might play differently against someone like the Islanders, or perhaps even the whole team plays differently enough that it makes an impact on how the Islanders would attack you, or is it just like an intangible confidence that he's talking about?
No, I think it's intangible. I think you want to make sure you're ready for whatever. Having that confidence doesn't mean that you take a team lightly. Obviously, we have a lot of respect for the Islanders, and we know it's going to be a really hard and tight series. That being said, when you're in the playoffs, you want to play with some confidence. You want to play with an edge that you need, in order to move forward. I thought at the end of the year, we try to build something towards getting into the playoffs, and same thing in the last round. And I think that's what we're trying to do, trying to stay in the moment, trying to build our game and enjoy ourselves, but also when the puck drops, be ready to go and being mentally sharp and focused.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Last one in English, Kevin Dupont.
Morning, Bergie. Good luck going forward here. I got a two-part face-off question, if I could. So much of your personal trademark is success there. You'll see a lot of, I guess, Pajot and Cizikas this round. Either of them pose a special, issue, problem, challenge?
Well, they're great at what they do. I think the Islanders are a team that maybe we talked about that earlier in the question with Fluto, where they like to put a right-handed face-off man on their right side, a lefty on the left side. So on any given time, you're always up against a guy that's really strong on his strong side. So that's definitely a challenge on its own. I think they're both very successful. You can't forget the other two centermen as well. That they're a good team. So it is a challenge. I think it's not just about me, but it's also talking with your line mates and making sure that you do start with the puck, because that's always really important. So I would say, it's always a great challenge to go up against really good face-off guys.
And in terms of prep going into a series, I know there's so much video done these days.
Yeah.
Do you spend time looking at their face-off guys and thinking through matchups with them, or is that just too much down in the weeds?
To be honest, it's kind of in my head. I know what's coming. I know how they like to take their face-offs. I'm sure they do this. They think the same way with me. They know how you play against a guy 8 times during a season, but also like beyond that. Those guys have been around for some time now, so you kind of know how they go about taking their face-offs, and you try to find ways to counter that.
Thank you.
Of course.
Our last question in French to Guillaume Lefrançois.
Oui, salut Patrice, j'espère que tu vas bien.
Oui.
Je sais que tu en as parlé un petit peu en anglais tantôt. J'imagine qu'à 25 de capacité là, dans l'aréna, tu sentais quelque chose, vous sentiez de l'énergie. J'aimerais que tu me décrives, c'est comment le 12 au tout début, les premières fois. Est-ce que ça fait du bien de voir du monde? Est-ce que ça fait quand même vide? Comment tu pourrais nous décrire ça pour les gens ici qui vont vivre ça demain pour la première fois? Là?
Oui, c'est vrai, ça commence demain à Montréal. Donc, en fait, ça a fait une grosse différence. Tu sais, on s'est adapté à la bulle à Toronto. Ensuite, on a commencé la saison sans partisans. Donc, tu t'adaptes, tu t'ajustes à ça. Par contre, lorsque le 12 est arrivé, ça a vraiment fait une différence. On sait très bien qu'un 12 en temps normal, on aurait trouvé que l'amphithéâtre était vide. Par contre, quand tu t'es habitué à ne pas avoir aucun partisan puis à avoir un peu du bruit de fond là, robotisé, de voir les réactions des fans. Puis, non, ça fait une grosse différence. Ça fait du bien. Puis, ça donne un peu, ça donne de l'énergie aussi. Ça l'aide de ce côté-là aussi.